Alright, my friends, this is your seat at the table, Galaxy Guide number 7, Mos Eisley, in West End Games version of Star Wars, the role-playing game. Alright, yeah, seen there. So, let's get this thing on the road. Somewhere around my feet is Frankie the shelter cat, who's already climbed up here on this table twice now and tried to rub against my overhead camera and knocked it out of alignment. Last weekend she got up here and somehow or another managed to disconnect, or just enough to get my headset out, and it caused me had to redo one video, and then the sound wasn't quite right in the first part of it either, and it was just kind of, anyway, just hopefully she'll behave herself right now. Mos Eisley. Come explore the infamous pirate spaceport city of Mos Eisley, founded by the relentless twin sons of Tatooine. Mos Eisley is the host of some of the most famous or infamous smugglers and criminals in the galaxy. Made famous by the exploits of Han Solo and the treachery of Jabba the Hutt, Mos Eisley is the ultimate adventuring locale for fans of the Star Wars movies. This book provides a complete overview of this outlaw city. It contains detailed location descriptions with maps, game master characters, descriptions, and illustrations, including Frankie, the shelter cat. Yeah, that Frankie? Yeah, that's number 3. Including introductory chapters describing the history of Tatooine and Mos Eisley. This was published in 1993. And we have our introduction, beware, slang of the sands, Bantha fodder, feed the sarlacc, the final jump, first twilight, grease the servo motors, moisture boy, lost in the wastes, etc. Chapter 1, Tatooine, first contact, sand people, a little bioinformation for stats and stuff for the planet and system itself. Frankie, what are you doing down there? Stop playing with stuff. Between a rock and a hard place, growing world, life after the mines, and the end of the orbital station that once was there. Then we got economics of sand, moisture farm processing sand, Tatooine sand castings, the crime lord, the imperial government. We got governor, how the government affects the average person, Tatooine's geography, and over chapter 2, Mos Eisley, an overview, getting into the planet or onto the planet, dealing with customs, usually a small bribe succeeds to get you past them, finding work, other options, getting out of Mos Eisley, the city itself, first impressions, the underground, Mos Eisley's government, the law enforcement or the lack thereof, crime and punishment, information on infraction and consequences, stormtroopers, police deployment, typical Mos Eisley police officer, the prefect Talmot, Lieutenant Harburg, a couple NPCs for you. A little bit of map of the central section of the city. Locations, Docking Bay 94, the malls, people own it, rent it, somebody hanging around with them, service shuttle, spaceport customs, spaceport feeders, Bespin Motors, some scenes that are familiar from the movie. The Farns, a local wannabe swoop gang. They have a single speeder bike as opposed to a swoop. Lup's General Store, Marketplace, Gep's Grill, and Spaceport Express. Docking Bay 86, Docking Bay 87, Mos Eisley Inn, the Tatooine Militia, Dubac Stables, Regional Government Offices, Power Station, Jabba's Townhouse, Typical Guard, Fervent Whistler, things that you can find. Once again, number 4 for Frankie getting on the table. Stay off the table, Frankie. You do that again and I'll put you outside the door. Next thing you should be climbing on things, knocking stuff off the tables. And street corner, preacher wreckage, Mos Eisley cantina. I think there's it'd be legends now, I guess, but there's I have a novel that's a bunch of short stories on Tatooine, and I honestly believe that the writers utilized this guide or pretty close to it, because a lot of the stories revolve around some of these locations and these NPCs. Jawa traders. Here's a bit one for you, right? Okay, Frankie. Excuse me, folks. I know you want to be in the middle of everything, but that's enough. I'm not having you climbing all my stuff and knocking things down. Get in the way. You can sit out there. Sorry about that. The last thing I want is another video that gets the sound knocked off or something else, and then by the time I figure it out, half my day's gone by. There's a name. Anyway, an interesting sub-character here is a squib named Mace Windu. Mace Windu. Where does that name sound familiar? Mace has been across the galaxy with the wealth of useless trivia and misremembered facts, a multitude of species and planets in the galaxy. Mace agreed to help Aquala run her droid shop because he owed her money. He loves every minute of it and he's considered opening his own shop, but has no idea what to deal with. Keep in mind that this particular character in NPC was created in the early 90s, so it can't be the same Mace Windu. I mean, I thought it was kind of odd or coincidental. Alright, have souvenirs, some of the droids that you can find in that droid shop. Tyson's Weapon Shop, Dockside Cafe, Docking Bay 92, Mos Eisley Spaceport Control, the Lucky Despot Hotel, Valerian, a would-be rival for Jabba the Hutt, Zegian's banking concern, the police station, the house of Momon Adden. Momon Adden's home represents a typical upscale Tatooine residence. The opulence is obvious in the incredible amount of water that the Ithorian utilizes. Indeed, the house is almost a miniature ecosystem. Momon Adden's home lies in the cul-de-sac in a quiet street formed by two long residential buildings on the southern edge of the city. Transport depot. The Cutting Edge Clinic. Welcome to the clinic run by a doctor with outstanding warrants on over 53 planets. Doctor has been given the death sentence in 14 systems. This scourge of the galaxy is none other than the infamous Dr. Evazan. Under the name of Dr. Cornelius, this evil man runs an office out of a nondescript building in Mos Eisley. Dimmu Monastery. Not Sub Shipping Company. Some chapter 3 adventure ideas. A rebel agent. Spice Runners Gabble. Scavengers Race. Stats on a Womp Rat. Honda Baba. The Doctor's Associate. The Edge of Fashion. A Bith saved as a Bith learned. Okay. A little bit here, a little bit there. There you have it. Not a lot, I mean, there's a lot of material here, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty straightforward. It just gives you a rundown of various places and locations within Mos Eisley itself, some character history, characters, some background on the planet and the system, it's etc. etc. So, not a bad little toy to have if you're into the Star Wars game thing. So, till next time, keep your blaster charged and watch out for shelter cats.